things, quite frankly, most people would probably not agree with. So the only way we're going to get property tax reform and relief as in the state is if local governments do what they're supposed to be doing and being good stewards of the taxpayer money and cutting budgets. Now, this is not anything that we have not seen before. In the mid-2000s, we had seen a rise in property values, a corresponding rise in property taxes, and then we had a property tax revolt. And as if you remember, Charlie Crist was arguing with then Senator, running for Senate, Marco Rubio, and people demanded property tax relief. We are seeing the same things right now. So through our travels, we are seeing local governments spend on things that they probably shouldn't be spending on. We are seeing them give out egregious raises. Hey guys, I understand that you guys love wasteful spending. We actually have some signs. We have some signs made for you that say, "I heart wasteful spending." If you want, we can hand it out. But if you don't mind, let me continue with the press conference. You guys can talk as long and loud as you want. I am hell-bent on delivering property tax relief to the state of Florida, so have fun. So while we're on that, we are going to make sure that we hold our elected officials accountable for the wasteful spending. And on site, we are going to make sure that we continue to scrutinize local governments to make sure that they are right-sizing. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing that local governments are going to do when we say that we're going to cut property taxes, and they start saying that we are going to lose essential services and they're going to have to cut fire and police. So let me be clear. Property tax cuts do not mean that we are getting rid of fire and police. In fact, if governments are doing what they're supposed to do, because the first role of government is to make sure that they protect the taxpayer, the first thing that they should be doing is funding fire and police. They should be prioritizing it. But what we are seeing is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse, and a lot of places that local governments can cut. We're going to continue to shine the light on this wasteful spending, and we're going to put the information in the hands of the voters so they can decide what they're going to do when their elected officials run for re-election, and definitely making sure that a constitutional amendment on the ballot in November 26th that's going to be voting on to offer real property tax relief. And I highly doubt the people behind you that are protesting pay property taxes at all. If any, we need to be good payers of the taxpayer dollars because it is not government's money, it is our money. More than happy to take any questions.
When you say that most people wouldn't agree with this, who is the people that you mean, most people, and what are these policies?
What do you mean most people wouldn't? Most people would agree that they want property tax relief. There was a poll that was done by the Tyson Group regarding inside the city of Jacksonville, where almost 3/4 of the people said that they would vote for property tax relief, and almost 70% said that that property taxes are too high. So when we're talking about most people would agree with our assertion that property taxes are too high and they should be cut.
Okay, and now these policies that you guys are looking at, why are you targeting St. Pete in specific? And
we're not targeting St. Pete in specific. If you notice, we've been all over the state. We've been in Jacksonville, we've been in Miami-Dade, we've been in Broward, we've been in Orange, we've been in City of Orlando, we've been in Pinellas County, we've been in Hillsborough County, Jacksonville, and up in the Panhandle. So we're not targeting anyone, we're targeting everyone. Every government is wasting money.
So what are some of the programs specifically that you are looking at some of these cities and counties and telling them that they can cut? What are some of the specific initiatives and programs?
So it's not specific initiatives and programs. Once we start going through the data, we're going to start identifying some of the things that are probably not a good use of taxpayer dollars. So once we see a contract, and look, the contract, it may be that a contract could be worthwhile, it could be a good use of taxpayer money, but how they're going through the procurement process and putting out to bid, that may be questioning. They may be overspending on the bids that are actually, the contracts that actually are good taxpayer money because they don't understand the bid process, the audit process, and they're probably not doing it according to state law.
And you said you've seen examples already. What are some of these?
We're not going to give specific examples. We will detail those examples when the reports come out, okay? And the reason being that we're not going to give examples is because local governments are listening to me right now. So if they understand some of the things that we have found in other counties, the counties that still have to be audited and reviewed, they may try to hide that information, and we will not stand for any hiding the information. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to go there.
Your response to Michelle Rayner, the state rep from St. Petersburg, she called this political retaliation. She said if the state's 0%
It is political retaliation. It's political retaliation against tax and spend career politicians who will not give tax relief. That's why we have to come in and stand up for the taxpayers, because the locals are not standing up for the taxpayers. So political retaliation, sure, against tax and spend politicians, yes.
Concentrating on the housing and insurance problem instead of this.
Yeah, maybe with all due respect, Rep. Rayner should go back and see some of the things that we're doing. I have been concentrating on housing affordability. We have had tort reform in terms of insurance that have created a market where insurance companies are actually now back in the market. They're competing for business. When other states are having double-digit rate increases, the state of Florida is less than 1%. We're bending the cost curve down. We've seen insurance rates start going down anywhere on average about 6.5% up to 11.5%. It is happening. But having said that, there's still more that we can do. We can always do more to do. And my promise to taxpayers and premium rate holders that are holding these for the insurance is that I'm going to hold the insurance companies accountable. We're going to make sure that they are supposed to do what they're contractually obligated to do, or they will hear from me.
Pinellas and Hillsborough told me that they sent thousands and thousands of documents. Pinellas said 18,000 documents that were requested. How is the state DOGE team going through those documents, and how are they reviewing them?
Document by document. And what I have told people, the reviewers, is that they need to view this as that if they are a police investigator, if they see something that looks wrong or see something that doesn't look right, then their job is to investigate. They need to go down the rabbit hole and make sure that they find the inefficiencies. They need to find the contracts, who the contracts are paid out to, how much it was, and look for that waste, fraud, and abuse. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a timeline for when these reports might be available? And is there going to be a way to tell how much it's costing to actually do the audits?
So, well, the audits are already, the information that the resources that we're using are already on the state budget, right? So these are people at the state. Some of them work for different agencies. They're experts in procurement. They're experts in management and budget, and they're making sure that we get them there, so there wouldn't be any extra. But I will tell you that our goal is to get a report out to the taxpayers in around 60 days. Some larger counties may take a little bit more. We may have to go back to some counties and ask for additional information. So it's going to take as long as we think is necessary to make sure that we're telling the taxpayers what the locals are spending on.
So CFO, just for transparency purposes, will taxpayers know the price tag of Florida DOGE? How much it's costing to go to city, county to county to complete these audits? I know you said some of the workers are coming from different
All of the workers are coming from different.
But will taxpayers be able to know the final cost?
Yeah, look, I don't think the final cost is going to be that much anyway, because like I said, they're already on the state, so we're just incorporating this into what we are actually doing. So last question, I got to go. Yes.
I wanted to ask you, some of these folks here, they told me that they're nervous that, they elected St. Pete City Council because they believe in what they're doing and they trust them. And they're worried that this is being undermined for what they voted for in these local elections. Do you kind of have a response to that?
Yeah, my response is polling says that about 70% of all people want property tax relief. 70 people think that they are being overtaxed. So obviously, the people that they put into office aren't watching out for their best interests. And in the absence of that, Governor Ron DeSantis and I will be looking out for their best interests. Guys, thank you. If you have any questions, please get with the communications team.